Hey everyone, I'm Albert. Today I'm going to talk about India's first empire. So, in this chapter, I'm going to talk about the empire that the Mauryas and Guptas established. And why does it still matters now? Because the diversity of people, cultures, beliefs, and languages in the India continues to pose challenges to Indian unity today. Okay, so before we get started, there are some terms and names that we need to know. Mauryan Empire is the empire established by Chandragupta when he and his army killed the Nanda king. Asoka is Chandragupta's grandson. He brought the Mauryan Empire to its greatest heights. Religious toleration means acceptance of people who held different religious beliefs. Tamil is the language spoken by the Tamil people of South India. Gupta Empire is India's second empire. Patriarchal means headed by the eldest male, while matriarchal means headed by the mother rather than father. Setting the stage. In 600 BC, many small kingdoms were scattered through India. And in 326 BC, Alexander the Great brought the Indus Valley to the northwest, under Macedonian control. Later on, Chandragupta Maurya seized power. The Mauryan Empire is established. So, the leader of Mauryan Empire is Chandragupta Maurya, who was born in Magadha. Magadha is centered on the lower Ganges River and is ruled by the Nanda family. And in 321 BC, Chandragupta gathered an army and killed the Nanda family and began the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya unifies North India. So, after he killed the Nanda king, he moved northwest, and in 305 BC, Chandragupta began to battle Seleucus I. Seleucus I is one of Alexander's generals, who inherited part of Alexander's empire. He wanted to re-establish Macedonian control over the Indus Valley. In 303 BC, a Mauryan Empire united North India politically for the first time. Chandragupta raised a vast army of 600,000 soldiers on foot, 30,000 soldiers on horseback, and 9,000 elephants. This helped him to conquer most of his territories. However, this also had a cost. The government levied high taxes so that the troops have clothes, food, and payment. For example, farmers had to pay up to 1/2 the value of their crops to the king, which is a lot. Running the empire. Kautilya is a member of priestly caste, and he is the advisor of Chandragupta. He wrote Arthasastra, which is a ruler's handbook. He also advised Chandragupta to establish a bureaucratic government, in which dividing a empire into 4 provinces, each headed by a royal prince, and is then divided into local districts whose official collects taxes and enforce laws. The Arthasastra proposed a tough-minded policies. For example, it proposed spying on people, employing political assassination. Life in the city and the country. Megasthenes was sent by Seleucus to Chandragupta's capital to remain peace with Indian Empire. He wrote glowing descriptions of Chandragupta's palace and farmers' lives. He described Chandragupta's palaces to have golden pillars, many fountains, and imposing thrones. In his description, farmers were exempted from military service, and they don't go to cities. In 301 BC, Chandragupta's son ruled for 32 years. and after that, his grandson Asoka took control. Asoka promotes Buddhism. Asoka is Chandragupta's grandson who wanted to be a loving, peaceful ruler, but he had to control a huge empire too. He became king in 269 BC, and at first he wages war to expand his empire just like his father and his grandfather did. However, during a war against the state of Kalinga, 100,000 soldiers were slain, and even more civilians perished. Due to the sorrow, he starts to study Buddhism, and later on he decided to follow the Buddha's teaching of peace to all beings. He built a huge stone pillar inscribed with his new rules, and promised his people that he would treat them fairly and humanely, promoted nonviolence, and have religious toleration. Asoka also built extensive roads so that he could visit the far corners of India. He also improved conditions along these roads to make travel easier and to improve communication in the vast empire. This demonstrates that Asoka's concern for his subjects' well-being. After Asoka died in 232 BC, the official failed to hold the empire together. And so, there are two effects of Asoka's death. The first one is the regional kings begin to challenge the imperial government. And the second one is some kingdoms regain independence. For example, Andhra arose and dominated the central region for hundreds of years. They profited from extensive trades between North and South India, and also with those of Rome, Sri Lanka, and Southeast Asia. At the same time, northern India for 500 years, started around 185 BC, had to absorb refugees from other parts of Asia due to political instability, such as those from Greek, Persia, and Central Asia. This event disturbed Indian society. However, it also introduced new language and customs to the already rich blend of Indian culture. At the meantime, southern India also experienced turmoil. There are three kingdoms never dominated by Mauryan Empire. They are called the Tamil people, who spoke Tamil. They are often at war with one another and with other states. After 500 years of turmoil, there rose a strong leader called Chandragupta. Yay! The one over here. Yeah. Chandragupta also arose from Agada, and he established Gupta Empire. And he oversaw the flowering of Indian civilization, especially Hindu culture. Okay, so at this point you might recognize this name as the Emperor of Mauryan Empire, which is Chandragupta Maurya. However, they have no connections, so yeah, it's kind of strange. Chandragupta builds an empire through marriage with an influential royal family. And this is a great difference compared to those of previous kings. Previous kings fought for their extension and development of their empire. However, Chandragupta established his empire through marriage. Chandragupta I took the title of Great King of the Kings in AD 320. Samudragupta became king in 335 AD. He is a lover of arts, but with a warlike side. He expanded his empire through 40 years of conquest. So here's a map of their territory. So, the first king of Chandragupta family is Chandragupta I, who conquered this green area above Ganges River over here, which actually is not that big. And his son, Samudragupta, however, um, conquered this much of territory over here, many times of his father's. So actually, his father sucks compared to him. Later on, we'll talk later on about Chandragupta II, who defeated the Shekas and had their territory over the west coast, the purple area over here. Yeah. Gupta era was the first era for which historians have much information about daily life in India. They discovered that most Indians lived in small villages, and most of them were farmers. However, there are also higher level people, who were the craftsmen and merchants. They lived in same area in town. They had shops on street level, which means the first level, and they lived in rooms above. And the society were mostly patriarchal. And all, including women and children, worked together to raise crops and work in fields. They often had to irrigate their crops because of common droughts. They had tax on water, and people had to work every month to maintain wells, irrigation ditches, reservoirs, and dams. And in Mauryan times, as I mentioned before, farmers give much of their earning to the king. So as we can see, water is very vital and important to their society, and also very rare too. Southern Indian followed different cultural patterns, however. Remember, they're called Tamils, and they were mostly matriarchal. Sometimes even the throne were passed down through female line. Villages follow in changing tradition patterns. Indians strongly respect Chandragupta II because he defeated the Shekas, who were the enemies in the west, and conquered their coastal territory, which I just showed you a few slides before, the purple territory. This allowed them to have profitable trade with Mediterranean. And he also strengthened his kingdom by having diplomatic and marriage alliance. During the reign of the first three Guptas, which were the Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, and Chandragupta II, India had achieved greatly in art, religion, and science. After Chandragupta II's death, Hunas, who were related to the Huns who invaded Roman Empire, threatened the northern India. During the next 100 years, the empire broke into small kingdoms which were overran by Hunas and other Central Asian nomads. This empire ended about 535 AD, unfortunately. And that's the end. Thank you guys.